Hello fellow map makers and welcome to another live map making session. I hope you're doing fine and had a good last week with Remy and his session. Always learn a lot from his videos, so I hope this was no exception. I've not been able to look at it yet, but I certainly will. Sound is good. Thank you, Sue. It's good to hear. And good to see that some regulars are coming in right now, just on the last second, but that's just totally fine. I had a good last week. I had a long weekend off with some role-playing, meeting up with some very old friends and reviving a very old role-playing group. Always great fun. And we had the first bits of winter with snow and icy roads on the way there. So, but we all got there and came back fine. Alright, so yeah, cats are a thing in C3+. That's good to hear. My cat is just left my lap, so I'm not sure she'll be show up again on screen today, but she's been around. Alright, what do we want to do today? I want to take another look at a classic overland style, one that I like very much, from one of the older annuals, the Ancient Realm style. I've got it on screen here, and with some very nice symbols and also very beautiful little cartouches or inserts for locations that you can put in the map. I want to just go through creating a map in that style and show you how to create your own little location cartouches for and how to use Photoshop or another image editor like that to create these and then insert them into the map. Alright, so as always, if you've got any questions during the session, feel free to post them in the chat. I'm sure everybody will be ready to answer stuff, and if there's anything I can show on screen, I will do that as well. So don't hesitate to ask. Alright, so let's get going. I'm in Campaign Cartographer in here on the left, and I'm going to click on the toolbar, on the file toolbar, and click the new map icon. And before I forget, I want to turn on my mouse highlighter. There we are, so you can see better what I'm doing on screen here. So again, new, yes. Alright, so I'm not going to save the changes to this map, and then I'm in the map new drawing wizard. I'm gonna choose the map type overland maps. Lately I've been mostly working with cities for the symbol set 6. By the way, good news, if everything goes according to plan, we'll have symbol set 6 in the shop and ready for full release tomorrow. And if you haven't picked it up yet from the pre-release, that's gonna be your chance. Alright, click next, and then I'm here on the top. Pretty much one of the first styles in there is the Ancient Realm style in metric and normal, yes, already normal for me, the Imperial style. Alright, okay, so let's click next, and then we're gonna set the size of our map here. And I'll create something a little bit larger this time. Not that it matters that much for an overland map, because Campaign Cartographer will adjust the scale of all the symbols to be roughly the same on every map, but you can always change that back to something, to other symbol sizes when you create the map. Alright, I'm gonna finish here at this point and simply save my map and start with a fresh one. Alright, we have a standard sea background for our version where we build a nice coastline and draw the land. We could have chosen a different bitmap fill at the start with the land bit fill and gone the other way around to draw lakes and the sea, but this is our standard way of doing things. You can see already in the default catalog that's loaded is the location catalog with all the example symbols that come with the style. But for now, I want to concentrate on creating the actual landmass. Here we go, and I'm thinking I'm doing a nice jagged coastline with the sea to the south. So I'm going to start here at the side, and I'm going to draw my coastline. Problem is, on this dark blue background, it's really hard to see the coastline I've already drawn. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in roughly for now, so we can all see a little bit more, and then go in and edit stuff with the edit function. Once I'm done drawing the coastline itself, I'm going to click beyond the map border in the corners to attach the coastline to the map border, and then right click to finish, and here's my coastline. And you can see we've got a nice edge striping effect on the land mass, and our coastline dark outline there. And I've done the coastline very roughly, so what I want to do now is I want to edit stuff a little bit. So I'm going to go in, press E for edit, and then do a little bit more jagged base and stuff. And this way you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. I'm thinking a bit of a fjord area. Long base going into the land. This way you can do your rough outlines first and then focus on the details later. Actually, because I'm clicking so much, the red point that highlights the clicks is almost getting a little bit in the way of showing stuff, but I guess I'm fine here. You probably know what I'm doing. Oh, I was mistaken. The cat's back. Thought she had settled into her chair and would not show up again. Probably the sound of me talking here, which I don't normally do, has brought her back. Go. Let's put in a couple of islands. I also often like to put in a little bit of an island or landmass section that extends beyond one of the other borders, mostly to show that our world is extending beyond the border of the map. That's one thing I often find in fictional maps, that you can basically see that the author was confined by the extent of his paper border or his screen border, and all the lands in the map layout are limited by that, and that always feels a bit unnatural to me. Of course, in a real world map, you'd try to put everything on the area, basically to put the area in such a way on the map that you're not missing anything important. But due to the nature of real world geography, that's not always possible. And so you get stuff like inserts, where an island or part of a nation that doesn't fit on the chosen paper format is inserted in a little box on the side, and doing stuff like that, or doing things like where a little bit is extending beyond the border but didn't match what had been drawn, or didn't match the drawing area, does give a little bit of feeling of realism, of authenticity to the map, so I like to do stuff like that. This is already a bit too much here. For this example, these islands, they do look a little bit like they were just fit into this area here between the landmass and the border. So to fix that, I'm gonna add a little bit of stuff here on the edge to break up that feeling that there's an artificial limitation to the geography by the paper border. Alright, so it's looking pretty nice. Thinking I might need a little bit of island here on the side. And with that, we're good for now. We've got a very nice detailed coastline, some interesting landscape with base extending far into the land. Mixture of land and sea, looking good. So next up, I'm gonna add a little bit of mountain range. I'm thinking of a very mountainous northern edge of the map, and then spurs of mountains extending southward. Alright, so it's from the file toolbar I load up the mountains catalog, and I've got a few different symbols here. This style is very much defined by its very high detail, very nice looking mountain symbols, and we've got a couple great peaks here, or yeah, 2 of them, and I'll put these down first as landmarks basically, so I can arrange my mountain ranges around those. I don't want to double them up because they are fairly unique. And so instead I'm going to just place down one of them, and then I'm going to go for the large mountains here. I can already see we've got quite a few of those. 6 different ones, yes. So I'm going to place these next. Very high peak there. Go, and then I'm gonna go for the normal maps, for the normal mountains, and fill out the rest of my mountain ranges with those. As you see, I don't worry about overlapping these mountains correctly at this stage. I'm gonna do that later with the sort symbols operation. Just filling up the northern edge of the map here with mountain symbols. And perhaps a couple here in this area. So that's nice. And then I've got the small mountain symbols, and I'm going to use these to build the ends of my ranges. The real world mountains tend to be formed by fault lines, and therefore do form patterns of long lines. Basically, they might be messed up a bit and several parallel to each other, but you often, except in single volcanic spots, you find lines of mountains on maps, and so I tend to build my mountain ranges in lines. Okay, good, and then I've got the foothills, and with these I'm going to build a few areas with additional little symbols for the very ends of the ranges, and some spurs along the edges, just to build in a little bit variety. And I'm gonna build this whole thing a little bit more with its own colored background for the mountains in a little bit. I could do that first and use that to define the extent of my mountain ranges, but I'm usually do the symbols first and then fill out the areas around them with the bitmap fill for the mountains. Go. Now I'm going to do a symbol sort operation. Symbols, sort symbols in map. All of them. Do it. And here we go. And then I'm going to use the mountain texture tool to just outline my mountain area. Going to extend beyond my symbols here a little bit because that fill does have a edge fade effect that will blend it into the green, and I want to see a little bit of that, so I'm going to make sure it's not all hidden behind my mountain symbols. Attach it to the map border. As you can see, the actual map border is on this map extends a little bit beyond the visible drawing area. That's so the edge fade effect does not show up on the edge of the map. And we've got a question from Christina about technical stuff about the mouse pointer here. This is a software, where is it? Called Mouse Highlab. Yeah, you can see the website, the web link here. It's free software. It's just a little tool that lets you highlight your mouse pointer. It's mostly useful when you're doing videos for people. I would want to use that when I'm working myself. It tends to get in the way, but for showing what you're doing to other people, it's very useful. You can set the colors and the size and all the options in here. Very simple, very easy to use and convenient. And now I've turned it off, so it's so convenient. I just need to close the program, to have it active. I need to put it in active in the background. There we go. Alright, so I've got my mountains up here, and now I do need some rivers, I think, to flow from the mountains into the sea. I'm gonna click the Coast Sea button here, and that also has the river tools listed here in a convenient group. You can also always click or right click the river drawing tool button, and it has the same options. And let's just use the default rivers, and I'm gonna just draw some rivers here flowing into the base, because it's mountains very close to the sea here. You're not gonna see that long rivers. But some are certainly good to have on the map. Use the F9 key, the on modifier. It's also down here. It's the on modifier to attach the river ends to the coastline. And as I often do, I hide the starts of the rivers behind mountain symbols. Also makes for a nice little visual effect. There we go, and I now find these rivers are probably a little bit too wide for my taste, actually. So let's have a look how wide my rivers are. 2.4. So let's change that. I could split them up into this, multiple parts and do these in different widths, but these are just too small to bother with that, I guess. So I'm just gonna go for change properties, chain line width by layer, water rivers. No, or not. Oh yes, they are picked, 7 picked. Do it, and the new line width, let's say 1.5, and that's better. Yeah. So let's have a quick look on the effects we have on this. There's a glow effect on this, yeah, with a very dark green. We might increase the blur radius a bit, but make the a little bit weaker. Yeah, I think I like this better. That doesn't make them quite as strong on the map. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And then we do have some natural features here. Let's have a look. We have some desert type stuff that's not very useful for this map. I'm just thinking a little bit dark forests, conifers and stuff, and perhaps some swamps in the lower lying areas. So I'm going to grab the swamp symbol here and just, I think I'm gonna do a new add symbols texture here, because I just want to use that for some texture that's behind all the other symbols. So I'm adding a new one that's above the normal symbol sheet and no effects attached. So I'm gonna put that down. Yeah. Fit this into these areas a little bit, but I'm thinking probably also have style probably also has a texture for that. Let's have a quick look. For yes, we do have marsh, tundra, swamp. Yeah, let's use the marsh to build a little bit of a marshy area. And this here, so I'm just draw across that, and then I'm going to use the T for trace. Click the coastline where I want my trace to go along, and then start here all the way this down here. I'm going to put it behind that symbol. The symbol just gives me a little bit of variation. And I can see the edge fade is almost a bit too much for my taste on the land features here. Let's have a look. It's 2% of the whole map extends, and let's make that just 1%, and that's better. That's more what I wanted. And I'm thinking I might need, for it to look good, a little bit more down this way along the coast here. Again, T for trace, click the coast where I want the trace to go along, and then click there where I want it to end, right click to finish, and there's my texture. Okay, so that's good. And now let's have a little bit look at forests. We do have a bit of a mix in here. We do have forest symbols that give me pieces of the forest that I can build along the edges, but we do also have little copse pieces or complete woods, or I do have a texture tool that I use to draw that. the doesn't quite generate the same edge as the symbols. Let's have a quick look. If I pick up the woods, or let's pick up the forest symbol here. These are obvious, of course, fixed shapes. If I place this down, I just notice that I've got the river not quite on the coastline here. There we go. It's fixed. I use the node edit tool for that. Just click that and to move the one point, and in this case the end point on the river, to move it on the coastline. And see if I draw the texture next to that. It does look similar, but it's not quite exactly the same. So you might want to go for consistency, to use either the fixed symbols or the drawing tool. And in this case, I'm just going to use the drawing tool because it's a little bit easier for me here in that environment. So I don't need to handle too many different symbols. You can match them nicely to the forest symbols here. You can see the forests are actually above that. If I could change that, let's have a look how that looks. It does give me the advantage when I draw the forest here behind the symbols. It will look as if it is actually behind the symbols. There you can see. If I didn't want that, I could move the forest symbol, the forest down to be above the symbols. That might be more to your liking on the northern edge of the forest, but it obviously you would then have to be careful to draw the forest correctly here on this side. I'm going to stick with the option from the defaults in the style. And now continue using the tool. This is even set up so you can draw it across the rivers, if I've seen that correctly. So the river tool the rivers will be visible above the forest. Yep. This way you can combine these tools quite nicely. Gonna leave the swamp texture mostly visible. Some more forest here on the edge. And then we do need a little bit in smaller patches around here. So I'm thinking here's going to be more of my civilized area where they cleared more of the forests. Go. Also just remember, which I should place is a few hills. We've also got hill symbols, which are very nice in this style, which I shouldn't forget. Just a few more patches of forest. And just a quick look here, you see I'm on the vegetation layer, And I'm just going to switch quickly back to the hills down here. And when I use the catalog buttons on here, it switches to the appropriate layer. So I'm on the Mid-Atlas Mountains now. Got to set these back to normal. I've got a bit of a rotation there from placing the forests. So my hills are nicely aligned again. And see, you can use these to add a little bit more detail and height to the map. Go. Of course, you could also set up some tools to fill with symbols, tools to do this, but I've shown that in previous live mapping videos, so I'm just going to use my trusty click everywhere method. Loose trigger finger there on the mouse. All right. Oops, that was one click too many. There we go. Oh, we even got some groups of pre-configured groups of symbols there in that symbol collection here. That makes it even easier. All right. Quite happy with the land layout already, so let's have a look. What else did we have in? We have got a chasm, or cliffs are always nice. See whether we can fit that in nicely somewhere here. Nice cliff area. But it's just the one cliff, unfortunately. So let's have a quick look. Sort, symbols, and map. Yeah, nice. Good. The mesa is not quite what I want here on this map at the moment. The chasm might go in nicely somewhere up here. And I'm working on the symbols texture, but I think I'm fine. Let's have a quick look. If I hide everything, yeah, these should not be on the texture sheet I've set up for that. So let's just quickly save the map, move to sheet, everything, but not the texture symbols I had set the sheet set the sheet up for. And actually I'm going to put that on the texture sheet as well, because it's basically a flat symbol. All mountains should be in front of that. Do it. And these go on the normal symbols sheet. Show everything again. All right. Okay. What did I do? Where's my sheet effects gone? Okay, somehow I managed to remove my sheet effects. Well, shouldn't be too big of a problem. Let's have a quick look whether we have the yeah, Sue says they sometimes, but I think they're actually, yeah, see, they're all gone. Somehow I managed to delete the sheet effect object. Let's have a quick look whether restarting changes that. But I fear this is simply gone. Is anything still hidden? All the sheets are visible? Nope. I somehow managed to delete the sheet effects. Well, the sheet effects are stored in an internal object, and normally there's some shenanigans you can do to delete it, to move it. But yeah, I'm just thinking I could, there's the Ancient Realms effects here. And there we are again. There's just a couple changes I need to do. That I did. The edge fade on the land features. I changed that to 1%. And there's also, that's something I fixed before. I think this version doesn't have the edge striping set up, because it's actually from an older version, the preset that I have here. So I'm gonna add the edge striping effect. Let's just have a look. Actually, what I'm going to do something simpler. Instead of trying to recreate here everything in here, I'm going to load my example map. Here we are. And I'm going to save these settings over I'm going to Ancient Realms. Just going to name it Ancient Realms. Save this. Okay. And now I'm going to load up my own map again. And load the setting here. And I do still need to fix this again. And there we are again. There I have my settings back. All right. And yes, some other others in the chat mentioned, I've never seen this happen before. Just simply vanishing the sheet effects. Sometimes they don't get applied, and you have to reload the map or the drawing styles to see them applied on the screen. That does happen occasionally, but just vanishing, no, it's a new one for me as well. All right, so I've got the sheet effect set up, and now I do want to add a few structures. I do have some cities and towns in here in the style. Let's build a little bit of cities. Nice town here on the river. You can use the bridge. That's going over there. Got a city here. And a couple of villages. Hamlet here on the island. And then I'm going to use the road drawing tool to connect these. Oh, and I see my road drawing tool is way too wide. Yeah, not sure what happened here. Okay, more stuff has been confused a little bit. I'm not in the Ancient Realm style. I'm in the default tool folder, which doesn't match this at all. So I'm going to switch back to these roads look better. Yeah, what's happened? I've deleted other internal objects as well, not only sheet effects, but also my settings, my drawing settings, like the style. So let's make the HMREs again, and the text sheet. That should be text. The default symbol scale should be 1.2 because I've got a 1200 miles wide map. Yeah, the other stuff is web nodes. Yeah, they are still there. There. Okay. Go. Let's redraw that road. Yeah, that's much better. On coasts like these, it's certainly often much more useful to use a boat or a ship to travel from place to place instead of using these very meandering roads. But you still have places here like you'd probably have a ferry, something going over. Let's put a stronghold on the other side. Then I'm gonna switch the color a little bit. Let's go for dark blue to depict perhaps settlements of a different nation. City here is a little bit too large. Let's take a town instead. Villages and a few hamlets. And again, take the road tool to connect them. Go. All right. And so much for the basis for my map. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I would normally spend quite a bit more time detailing structures and roads, but I just want to put down some examples because I wanted to show you some of the special features. What I should do is put down a ruin somewhere. Ruins are always cool, so we do need some of these. And also a castle. Go. It's running a hard road here, right through the swamp. Let's have a quick look. We do have some minor roads or tracks. So what we could do, if you want to change this into a track, I could do change like draw tool. Choose the road path tool. Select this to do it. Yeah. What I should have done first is set the correct sheet, because this will always place the object on the current sheet, and it was on the first sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the roads sheet. There we are. Okay, so far with that. Now I want to take a look at the nice special symbols that are showcasing certain sections of the map. See, we've got different places that might be adventure locations or special settlements or natural formations. We've got a palace here, and I'm going to place that down. It gets placed on its own separate sheet on symbols icons. Oops, where am I? There we are. Place this here. and that showcases a special feature on the map. And so, for example, I could now go in and add a little bit of text here for my outline text. Let's call this town Duke's Landing. Not inspired by some certain fantasy epos and series at all. Oh, no, I'm gonna wanna align the text to the right and to the bottom here. So Duke's Landing, that's my name, and then I'm gonna go in and make a little bit of a. No, I'm first gonna name this. Call this the Ducal Palace. Top left for the text alignment. Put this here. And now I want to make this the featured bit on the map, and I like the text size for that, so I'm going to make this text size here a little bit smaller. Change text properties, select the baseline of the text, default to it. Let's see, make that 12. There we are. Okay, yes, I certainly wanted to show you how to create these. And so now that I've placed one down, I'm going to take a look at creating my own. And the first thing what you need is a picture of the icon you want to use. One possibility nowadays, there's these many AI generated images around the web and image generators that you can use to create your own weird and interesting stuff, mysterious pieces. Great way to add some extra flavor to your map. So check these out if you are into doing that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab an image from the web. I've did a quick little Google search for some buildings, and I've grabbed this piece here from Wikipedia. And then I've actually I wanted to show you how to work on that image a little bit. I've already edited it a bit. Let's have a quick look whether I can find my original there. Copy that. Sorry, that was in a different window. So I'm gonna do a new image and paste my map. And this is the image of Samara. Spiral minaret, and there, which I grabbed from Wikipedia. It's in the public domain, so I can use that. And I want to create my map icon from this. So I'm going to working in Photoshop here now, but just very basic operations which you should be able to do in any image operations you can do, except perhaps the filter I'm putting over this. But basically, if you've got an image that you can use it directly in Campaign Cartographer. I'm just doing a little bit of extra stuff in Photoshop, which is not really necessary. What I want to do is I want to do a circular image, and for that I do use a circular selection here. I've gone select a circle and gonna grab my selection tool, set the size, and then move this around until I've got the section of the image I want. It's looking good. Then I'm gonna inverse my selection and remove everything around it. Also gonna remove my background layer And then I'm gonna crop this, oops, to my selection. There we are. That's all I need. And then with the annual, with the Ancient Realms annual comes a template for this, both in PSD as well as a PNG file. Here I'm using the icon template directly, and basically what I've done is I've grabbed this image here, pasted it into the template, set the size that I wanted, and merged it with the layer below that. And there we are. And that's my image that I have. Actually, I've made it a little bit larger than the previous one. Actually had this inside the inner circle, just a little bit larger. There we are. Again, merge it. And this has an illustration effect applied, and this does this little blurring and illustrative texture. That you can do art textures or art filters like that with almost any modern image processing software. Just a little feature to make it a little bit more suitable for the map style. But I could use the image as it is without this special filter normally. Now I've got this in my PSD template. Now I'm just gonna save this as, and that's important, as a PNG file, because I want to preserve my transparency. So the image is actually circular, and that doesn't work with the JPEG file because JPEGs don't do transparency. So I need to use the PNG image format. And just for convenience, I'm gonna save this in my video folder, and there's the, for my testing already in there. I'm gonna save this. There we go. And now I can go in here. I'm gonna use extract properties on the icon that I already used, so I know where that goes and what properties that uses, and my current one does the same. I could now import this as a symbol, as a PNG, and set it up as correct symbol. What I can also do is I can just open it in my catalog window here. Videos, fantasy. Here we go, and there's my spiral tower, and there's the symbol. I just need to resize that to so it matches the size of my existing ones. That looks good. And oops, no, that's not what I wanted. I want to place it here. And you can see it does get the same sheet effects applied. And there's my own little image cartouche in the map. Again, I can go back to my existing text here, pick up the text properties with the extract properties icon, and place a name for this location. Bottom attached to the location here, and there's my custom symbol in the map. And if you've got several if you've got a whole location of symbols, then you can do all the image operation first that you're doing, and then later import them as a whole set of symbols with the import PNGs. That's the other option we can do. I'm going to show you that as well. So I'm going to go for that. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the symbol Then I have this direction. There we are, my spiral tower. Grab that, and then I'm going to go to my program data folder where I've got C3+, symbols, user, and then I'm going to do a new folder here, new, and call it Ancient Realms, so I know it's for this style. I'm going to put in my spiral tower here, and then I'm going to go in here, symbols, import PNGs, browse. I'm going to go to my program data folder again, plus symbols, user, Ancient Realms. I'm going to prefix it a bit so it does get a different name than the one I inserted via the catalog window. Here I've now not double checked the resolution or anything, so what I'm gonna do this in a moment. I'm gonna this time, users might have seen when I placed this from the catalog window, it was always on the left side, was my insertion point. That's the default, and I can't change that when I'm using the catalog window. Here I can set where I want my insertion point to be, and I want to in the center. I can also do different resolutions, so it's not that important nowadays, but it does save a little bit of redrawing time when you have zoomed out, because it only loads a low resolution image version of the image. Then I do OK. Nope, I don't want to delete anything in there. So there we are. Symbols. Now again, I take a look at the symbol one in here. This is the one that I inserted from the catalog window. I'm just going to delete this for now and going to replace it. See, it's gone here. Use this one. And I just need to options. I'm going to force it on the sheet symbols icons, because that's the one I've been using for these. The rest is not necessary to change. There we are. Okay. And now I'm going to check it from this place here, grab the icon, and let's have a look how large it is. Looks a little bit too large, but it's already scaled up, so set normal. And let's have a look. 1.2. See how large we need to make it to match here. So 4.7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in symbol manager, grab this and scale this by 4.7. And now if I place this and set it to normal, I haven't taken the 1.2 into account that I've already scaled this to. So I need to scale this down a little bit. Yeah. Let's make this a little bit, let's put this in 1. There we go. It's better to compare to a size 1 symbol. Makes it easier. Let's see, 8.875. Symbol manager. Scale this by 0.875. And now set to normal. Now it matches this well enough. When I've set it to size 1, it should match this one. Yeah, it's not 100% exact, but good enough for my purposes here. So set to normal. And now I'm going to place it where it's supposed to go. There we are. And there's my custom symbol in the map. Alright, just a quick add. I'm thinking if I often want these in drop shadows, I might want to change the the sheet effects on these symbols a little bit. So I'm gonna deactivate the, no, that's the text outlined. I meant symbols icons. There's already the drop shadow effect is already included in the effects here, I see. So that's a common effect you want to have with these icons, which also looks very nice on the map. And there's the drop shadow version of the icons. And that way you can populate the area with your own custom-made symbols, your special locations. You might want to use symbols from other campaign cartographer styles for this. You might use portraits for characters if you're showing the locations of certain characters on the map. You could use the token treasury for that, or even location of special monsters with that. You know, the new symbol set 6 is great for showing special buildings in detail. You could put these into the icons here. So there's lots of possibilities you can do with your own symbols in this style. And our hour is over, and I hope you like what came out in a little hour of mapping here. It's not totally finished the map. We do need more places and texts and stuff, but we've come very far and wouldn't take perhaps another hour or so, or even only half an hour, and we would have a nice completed map. All right, hope you like that, and hope to see you again next week. After that, we might go into Christmas break, but we'll certainly do one more mapping session this month. All right, hope you had a good time, enjoyed this. I certainly did. And have a good time, have a good pre-Christmas time. All the best to you. Bye bye.